Alrighty then. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Matthew Baker of Beautiful New York Tours. One thing that a lot of people like to do on vacation, not just in New York, but anywhere, is eat and drink. That, of course, is something that people need to do under all circumstances, but they really make a point of doing it up on vacation. And certainly, in a city like New York, one of the big pieces of advice I like to give is eat something you can't find at home or that you've never had before. This is the most diverse city in the world. That's quantifiable. If you measure diversity by the number of languages spoken and by the national origins of the residents, we are the most diverse city in the world. So you can find a little bit of everything here. And I highly recommend it, whether it's dim sum in Chinatown, whether it's Greek seafood in Astoria, whether it's German cuisine at Rolf's, whether it's any of the myriad great Italian cuisines. There's Thai food, there's Vietnamese food, you name it. But the other thing that people really like to do in New York is drink. And it's nice to be able to drink in New York because, of course, you're not likely to be driving here. When you're here, you take the subway or the bus, or of course, my favorite way to get around the city, you walk. It's very much a walker's town. Do not attempt to drive in New York City. It is frustrating, it is difficult, and you're not going to have any fun. Use public transit. That is what public transit is for. And that also frees you up to drink as much as you like, whenever you like. Now, there are all kinds of bars in New York City. There are college bars, sports bars, dive bars, tiki bars, Irish pubs, Latin cantinas, but my favorite type of bar is the speakeasy. Speakeasies, of course, came about in New York City and elsewhere during Prohibition, when it became illegal to buy and sell alcohol. The underground world of the speakeasy sprang up. You walk into a perfectly innocent-looking storefront, you say the right code word or you know the right people, and the back room opens up wonders of atmosphere and consumable deliciousness. And in recent decades, the tradition of the speakeasy has returned. Now, this is a very big deal. There was a wonderful book about the Stork Club that said, if the nation laughed at Prohibition, then New York was in a fit of hysterics. You could not get a drink unless you walked 10 feet in any direction. So the idea of celebrating the history of the speakeasy with new modern speakeasies is very much in the spirit of New York. Now, probably the most famous of the bunch, and of course the very phrase famous speakeasy sounds a bit self-contradictory, but the most famous is probably PDT, which stands for Please Don't Tell. It's so well known, I don't think there's any damage in telling. You enter it through the phone booth at the Criff hot dog place. Another great favorite is Bathtub Gin. When you walk into an unassuming-looking bakery, open up a false door in the wall, and you come into the most amazing 1920s setting. Others that are not quite so elaborate, but certainly nice and secret and have amazing drinks include places like Attaboy on the Lower East Side, where they have no drink menu. You tell the bartender what you tend to like, and he makes up a cocktail for you on the spot. That is a really wonderful place. There are places like Apotheke in Chinatown. There's the Raines Law Room in South Midtown. And there are just wonderful speakeasies all over the city that can really make for a fabulous night of bar hopping. Some of them are actual former speakeasies. A friend of mine runs the William Barnacle Tavern that has a wonderful sign above its door saying, "Your grandmother drank here. Unless she was Baptist, then she drank in the pantry." But another one is the really ritzy spot in Midtown called 21. 21 is a legendary bar that has been through thick and thin for the last 100 years. And Walter Winchell held court at 21. Humphrey Bogart used to go to 21. John F. Kennedy allegedly took Marilyn Monroe to 21. And it's still hopping today. But they were a speakeasy during Prohibition. And if you are gracious and offer a generous tip, which is something you should be doing anyway, there are managers who will offer you personal guided tours of the wine cellar. When I had this happen, I told the manager, if you ever want to leave the hospitality business, you have a great career as a tour guide ahead of you. He told wonderful stories of how the wine cellar would mask its existence during Prohibition. Another great actual speakeasy that's now a regular bar is Chumley's on Bedford Street in Greenwich Village. It has two entrances, one on Barrow Street and one at 86 Bedford Street. And when Chumley's received a phone call during Prohibition saying the cops are on their way to raid the bar, they would send all of their customers out the exit on 86 Bedford Street if the cops were coming in the other way. The verbal shorthand for this became 86 the customers, and that is how we got the term to 86 something, as in to get rid of it and run out. So these wonderful bars and their wonderful stories are absolutely yours for the experiencing once it is safe to do so. I would be more than delighted to design a tour around such a pub crawl. If you would like this, please check me out at Beautiful New York Tours. You can search Beautiful New York Tours on Facebook or email me at baker.tours@yahoo.com. Again, that is baker.tours@yahoo. Thank you very much.